Welcome to Transfers on Tour. I'm the Roadman, Dummer, Ni, Mind. Good evening. Welcome to another Transfers on Tour. Unfortunately, this week there will not be a live video. My partner Emsy was attacked by my cat, and I've got to look after this, so it has to be a pre-record. So let's get into it. This is Alice Gold via Football London. Apparently, Archie Gray deal is a 40 million package, which includes just over 25 million plus Joe Rodon moving the other way. The Championship Player of the Year will join another highly rated 18-year-old in Lucas Bergvall following his 8.5 million switch from the Garden. Now, I'm dubious about the Archie Gray deal. I'm happy with it. The price seems okay, and I'm looking forward to see what he can do. According to reports, he's going to be playing in midfield, not as a right back. So yeah, he's a versatile young player, very raw. Looking forward to it, and especially with Lucas Bergvall coming in, another player again, raw, young, with abundance of talent. So we'll have to see how those two do in the pre-season. Moving on, players leaving. Now, obviously, we know we've got an abundance of players that need to leave the club, a lot with 12 months on their contract, which includes Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, Giovanni Lo Celso, Sergio Reguilon, and Jed Spence. But also, Brian Hill is also up for sale for the right price. And Oliver Skip is looking for more regular football, which at the moment, with obviously Archie Gray coming in, Lucas Bergvall, the players we already have in midfield, it's going to be probably hard to find next season. So, yeah, it looks like Oliver Skip is looking to find more game time. We've heard reports that Leeds wanted to look at Oliver Skip. We don't know how that's going to develop over the coming weeks. There's 3 weeks left on the window. So, yeah, we'll have to see how that goes. Moving on, again with Football London and Alistair Gold. Postecoglou wants options up front. Lille's Jonathan David is among the names of the list of the position. The Australian wants more firepower up front, and attacking spots are ones he wants to fill sooner rather than later, and before looking at any extra defensive additions. Now, obviously, I think we all know that last season our attack was a bit of an issue. I think if it's just Jonathan David, that would be a bit. It would be a bit poor of a window. We need more than just David, but we'll have to see how that goes again. See what type of players are coming in. I'm going to bring up obviously other attacking players that apparently we are looking at. So yeah, let's move on. Attackers coming in. That's bringing in new attack priority for the summer. Verma signing on again for another season is one option who fits the Australian system, but more attacking players will arrive during this window. Moving on from that, unfortunately, not many people like this, which good source, bad news. According to reports, Emerson Royale won't take a cut price free for Emerson Royale. AC Milan wanted 10 million for him, which unfortunately we know Daniel Levy, 10 million seems a bit low. We wanted 17. I mean, there's a £7 million difference. I still think Emerson Royale will leave. I know it's the report states that Tottenham are willing to keep him, but I do believe that by the end of the window, Emerson Royale will be no longer a Tottenham player. I think a lot of clubs will start coming in, especially now, obviously, the books are all clean. I feel like there will be clubs looking to see what type of price they can get for him. And moving on, Richarlison remains a Saudi target. El Ittihad and El Hilal are both discussed him. Spurs would expect 60 million to sell, but are yet to receive any offers. One to watch, though, between now and the end of the window, and that is Jacobs. Ben, we've heard a lot of reports that Saudi want Richarlison. £60 million would be a good price. Unfortunately, he hasn't had the best career at Tottenham since he signed for us. He's had many injuries, a lot of issues, and I just feel like if someone was to come in and spend 60 million on Richarlison, that money could be better spent on new attacking players and could add more versatile players within the squad as well. So yeah, moving on. Ange Postecoglou wants a couple of new faces within the next 2 to 3 weeks. Coaching staff will meet tomorrow and players in for testing Saturday, then train Sunday. Now, this is via Paul O'Keefe. I think we all know we need a lot more players than what we've already got. Verma on loan and two youth style players is not going to make this squad any better than what it was previously last season. I feel once the Euros are over or coming to the end and a lot of clubs are knocked out, I feel like we'll make a lot more movements, especially now with the 1st of July, all the books have wiped clean. I feel like there's going to be a lot of players moving out and quite a few players moving in, hopefully. And again, with Paul O'Keefe, this is his special, which is a Paul O'Keefe mid-Fred, as he likes to do. He was asked chances of signing centre forward. He goes one to watch later in the window, and obviously that was alluded before that an attacking player will be coming in, but obviously when, who knows, and who knows who that attacking player is. According to a report from Paul O'Keefe again, there is a chance of Tottenham moving for both Doue and Neto. So again, before, great source, great news. Now, obviously, Doue is a young player as again with quite a high, quite a high, quite a high ceiling. I say he's very, very skillful. He's very quick. He's versatile. But again, another player that's very raw. You know, like Lucas Bergvall, like Archie Gray. These players have a high ceiling, but they're very raw and they need to be developed correctly. I feel like he mainly plays on the left, I believe, Doue. So I feel like he'll be below Verma because obviously, if we sign attacker players, Son's going to play on the left. Then you're going to have Verma as a backup to Son, and then you'll have Doue as a backup to Verma. So we'll have like 3 players within that position. I don't think that's bad. I feel like that type of backup options on that left is good. Unfortunately, it's the right. We need to focus on it as well with only Kulusevski and Brendan Johnson. With Neto, I feel like he'll be pushed onto that right. But I feel like he plays more in the middle, as he did for Wolves a lot. But I mean, with them on the left and that on the right, I feel like that could be good business. But again, up front is the one we need. Anyway, moving on. According to Spurs Journal and the Spurs IT Hub, we're in talks with Rene's for Doue. I haven't put a good source or a bad one. Fortunately, I don't know too much about Spurs Journal, but this is something that popped up and I thought it'd be great to show due to the fact that Paul O'Keefe mentioned that we are talking with, we're not talking with, sorry, Paul O'Keefe didn't say that. So don't clip this and put it all over Twitter. Paul O'Keefe mentioned that obviously we are interested in both Doue and Neto. Obviously, Spurs Journal is stating that we are in talks with Rene. I think we do have a good relationship with Rene. And I feel like the way this is moving now, don't get me wrong, he's got a lot of clubs looking at him. But when you look at the players we've recently signed with Archie Gray, with Lucas Bergvall, young players, I think Doue is one that's going to look at that and believe, you know, there's going to be a squad of young players. I'm going to get chances. I'm in the Premier League. And he'll be playing Europe next season. A player like that isn't looking for Champions League, even though he probably would love it. The likelihood of him going to a club and playing the Champions League is obviously very, very low. Whereas a club like Tottenham playing in Europa, it gives him more of an option and be able to play. So, yeah. And there is a couple, if you go onto his Instagram, I think it is, something like that, he has liked a couple of tweets. The Archie Gray one, I think he liked, and Lucas Bergvall one, I think he's liked. So, yeah, he's liking a few tweets and stuff. And I know that means nothing. He could just like Tottenham, but, you know, before the reports came out that we were looking at him, he didn't like any of them. So you can take that however you want. But yeah, he has been liking a couple of posts from Tottenham and players, especially the youth players from Tottenham. Moving on, Mikey Moore is expected to be heavily involved in a pre-season. Borussia Dortmund are sniffing around the player's situation, but Moore is happy at Spurs, and Ange Postecoglou has plenty of belief in Moore. And as Vialis the goal again, I feel like Ange Postecoglou has seen something in Moore that he wants to keep him around next season and use him within the squad. He obviously gave him a few minutes and a few starts last season. And we know Moore is an incredible prospect. He's done a fantastic for the under 21s. He did amazing for England. And he needs to be developed again. I feel like keeping him around at such a young age, especially when clubs like Borussia Dortmund and that are sniffing around him, you want him to make him feel like he can break through into the first team. And the only way to do that is obviously keeping him around the situation of the first team and around the players, training with them. He'll probably make a few bench appearances, and as well, he'll get a couple of minutes at the end. I can't see him starting many games. Unfortunately, at 16 years old, turning 17, you just can't. That player just will not be getting regular starts. But I think he will make a few late game appearances, a couple of minutes here, just to give a player a little break and things like that. So yeah, but it's good news. I like hearing that. I like the fact that we are going for youth, and hopefully Ange Postecoglou uses these players, because what you get with youth that you don't get with a lot of older players is desire to play. When an older player is struggling, or I wouldn't say older player, but a more experienced player, when they're struggling within a game, they sometimes can, you know, stop that energy. They kind of lose that energy to want to carry on fighting. Whereas a young player, from the whistle blows to the whistle blows, they want to fight all games. So having these players within the squad and having the option to rotate them is going to be fantastic for me personally. And moving on, according to Alistair Gold, Luton Town are understood to be interested in taking Jamie Donley on loan. Now, obviously, this morning, me and Ben on Morning Brews had a quick speak about this. I think this is fantastic. I don't understand previously why we've brought in players like Valise and send him to abroad. I understand he's not a very, his English isn't the best, and allowing him to develop around people he can speak fluent with would be good. But I like these championship loans. It's one step below the Premier League. It's a fast-paced, aggressive league with an abundance of games. So Donley hopefully will get a lot of game time. We know Ashley Phillips went to Plymouth and he did fantastic there. These are the type of loans I'm hoping to see. This is one I think Mikey Moore will get next season. I think he'll be kept around the first team just to sway his head from the likes of Dortmund and teams like who will come in for him. And I feel like, yeah, with Donley, this is a fantastic loan. He'll develop there. And I think Luton's the perfect team. Under Edwards, at the end of the season, Luton played extremely good attacking football. Unfortunately, it was just at the wrong time. They lost too many games at the beginning, and they were just in that position, but they played fantastic football. And I feel like Luton next season, if they carry on the way they're going, you could see them back in the Premier League next season. So yeah, I feel like that's a good loan for Donley. But unfortunately, that's it for this week. Hopefully next Friday at 6 p.m, I will be live, and I will hopefully have more news and more Dominic Mins, because we've only had one so far, and I'd like to be able to come on the show and give you more. So that's it. Please like and subscribe, and drop what you feel in the comments with anything I've spoken about today. Jump in the comments after the show, and yeah, let me know how you feel. So Dominic Mins, everyone. See you next week.